Hello, welcome back. And today we are doing the first cosmic entity in the CCU, or the Creatures and Characters universe. I wonder if I should call it the CCFU, because that's the Creatures and Characters fictional universe. So essentially, the story behind this is that at the very beginning of time and space itself, before any galaxies existed or anything like that, Bat and Clayat made their first planet in agreement, and this is before they sort of took on their own ambitions. They agreed that they would need to make something of life, something that would thrive in making other life in the universe, and this is what they came to agreement on. Today we're going to be designing the first planet, and I don't currently have a name for this planet, and I think it should actually be unnamed because it is the first planet and it's kind of a bit like unknown regions. And I've got some pretty cool designs for this. So I'm actually going to show you all the designs I have now. This was sort of just like a basic sketch up, some of the other bits I want to do. I'm going to show you a Pinterest mood board I have here. So actually, if we scroll through this, you can see some of the initial ideas I had. I've been looking up planet design, some cool little ways I can maybe make it. And actually, in the time of filming this, it is actually Chinese New Year. And I wanted to maybe include a bit of the Chinese art style. Now I have noticed it is quite similar to the Japanese art style, except it's less like fluorescent. And it's more sort of like calligraphy and faded, if you get what I mean. So as you can see here, the mountains sort of fade inwards, and obviously they use calligraphy ink. And I have actually, coincidentally, got my own set of sort of like characters and language that I want to add to the universe as well. I'll do a big video on it at some point. But they're going to be playing sort of like a major role in the whole thing. And I kind of want to add this sort of like watercolor faded sort of black and white, but also maybe bursts of color like these ones here. So they're quite cartoony, but they're also they get like the message across basically. So I want to have it be simple but effective essentially. And I was going to have some sort of primordial beings like Karat or Clayat in the background, but I'm not so sure now, because I feel like it might just like overdo it a bit. I kind of want this to be, again, a bit simple, a bit effective. And also I don't have really like a final design for Karat or Clayat, and I don't really want to copy someone else's design, but these two I think for me currently are the best looking ones. Other than that, let's jump back onto the page and get that design down. So first of all, for a planet, we need some sort of spherical reference. Mine is going to be circular, even though they didn't know what planets would look like at the time or what circles were. This is just what they decided to make the shape of it be. Obviously, other planets or moons that come up might be completely different shapes or sizes, but there we go. So I have actually sketched down the basic idea for the planet. It is quite rough and quite light. It might be a bit hard to see, but I have actually got 6 moons. And rather than being circular, as you can see, they are irregular shapes and they've got their own sort of qualities to them, which is pretty cool. So now I'm just going to add in like some clouds, some extra details. When we go in later with pen and color, I know like where to go over. So now that that's done, if I can just get this thing to focus. Pardon me. Yeah, you can see I've got certain qualities for the moon. Some are spiky, some are hollow, some have got massive cracks in them. The planet is actually cracked itself. These are the other moons down at the bottom, and there is specifically 6 for a reason. I will explain that when it comes to colouring. And yeah, I just think it looks really good so far. So I will see you guys in a minute. So yes, you may notice that once again I have indeed switched locations, and actually on the time of filming this is currently Chinese New Year, and that's why I've chosen this specific sort of like Chinese ink calligraphy sort of style. I'm going to be using watercolor as my medium. I've got my thick and thin paint brushes. With water, this is kind of messed up a bit, but we're going to try and use some much more brighter colours, sort of fade them in a bit, and it's going to look really cool. And then over the top, I think we're going to go in with some nice fine liners. So we've got I think this is a 0.5 millimeter, and then this is a 0.2 millimeter. So that should be all good. Let's jump straight into it. No more stalling, let's jump straight into it. And actually, I want to share with you guys a bit of a story behind this piece, or this cosmic entity. Once the concepts of reality, time, and space had been set, the primordials agreed that they should create more extensions of themselves in order to be entertained but also worshipped and respected for their incomprehensible power and abilities as the most powerful entities in existence. The first planet made by Kalat and Kleat, although not known that it was a planet at the time or that shapes yet existed, was perceived as a large red sphere cracked in certain areas, spilling out the green essence of Genesis itself, pure life energy. Furthermore, in their time of first existence, before pursuing their own intentions, both beings came to a conclusion that parts of their power would be too great for the universe that they would generate. Therefore, by placing parts of their energy in each of the 6 moons surrounding the red planet, only when specifically aligned could either access their full unlimited potential. While in this alignment, their cosmic abilities and power would stay unlimited, but when disaligned, their power would stay limited. This place of first creation would come to be known as Enoch, as named by the first being that gained sentience after being forged from the life essence, designed by both of the cosmic primordial entities, Kalat and Kleat. Turned out really well, and you may notice that a certain area up here is a bit different, and that is actually because I've been painting the whole thing flipped. It is meant to be this way up. So I tried to play around with a bit of the fade effect, and I did actually use something called dry brushing, which is where you don't include water when you actually paint on. It adds a bit of a fade, a bit of a lighter effect, and some of the secret ingredients I did also use are these pencils here. Now these work really well on top of the watercolour, because these are actually watercolour pencils, so they blend really well into the colour. I've used some darker reds, some lighter reds, and then complementary colours on the planets that sort of match their auras, I guess you could say. And I hope you enjoyed that story bit as well. I wrote that up the other night, just really quickly. But I think it plays really well into the whole idea of this planet. This is the first cosmic entity, besides like Kalat and Kleat, in the universe I'm creating currently. And it's the first sort of universe edition in my monthly themes. So yeah, it's gone pretty well. Just once again, at the end of the video here, you can either subscribe, like, or leave a comment, or all 3 of those. It just shows support and that you like my content, and I've got something planned for next time. Hopefully it goes well. But yeah, I'll see you then, and goodbye.